So the practice today, I thought since we're all at home, it'd be a nice opportunity to practice with the chair because we're not really allowed to have props at the moment with everything that's going on. And Jenny, you're upside down. That's fine other than that. So it's so yeah, I think, and I want to kind of use it as an opportunity to show how deep you can get into a stretch using a chair. Sorry, there's just someone at the door, which I assume is going to be answered by someone. Oh, it's all right. He's talking to them through the window. Don't forget about it. So yeah, it's quite useful to see how deep you can get into a practice still using a chair. So it kind of takes the stigma away from using props that yoga can sometimes have. That's my TED talk anyway about chairs. So we will get into it. So we're going to start sitting on the chair. And again, it's quite useful to feel how different it is centering when sitting on a chair rather than lying on the floor. I tend to find that it's quite, I don't know, I feel a bit more grounded with my feet like this, but then I'm naturally not a particularly grounded person, so I need all the help I can get. So just come to sit so you feel planted, so you're not leaning against the back of the chair, but the spine is long and you've got this nice right angle with the legs, the feet coming down onto the floor. Allow the hands to be on the lap or just on by the side of you, whatever's comfortable. And begin by closing the eyes or coming to a gentle gaze if that feels better for you. Starting to notice the breath. Don't need to change it too much at the moment, but if possible, maybe breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And we'll continue with this pattern of breathing in and out through the nose through the practice. If at any point through the practice you feel the need to take a sighing breath out through the mouth, that's absolutely fine. Where possible, this breathing through the nose is the more calming breath. So allow the body to melt down, feeling a release, feeling the sense of grounding from this position. So we're really using gravity to fully feel that effect of this force of the apana, the downward flossing energy that we have in yoga. Releasing around the crown of the head, around the eyebrow center, allowing the forehead to smooth. Releasing around the jaw, allowing the teeth to be parted, the tongue to rest on the bottom of the mouth. Releasing down the neck and throat. And releasing around the shoulders. Allowing the arms to rest wherever they may be. Feeling that full force of gravity, of that sense of grounding. Releasing all the way through the arms to the tips of the fingers, the palms of the hand. releasing around the upper back, releasing around the chest. Releasing around the middle of the back, around the stomach, around the hips and pelvis. Releasing through the legs, past the knees, the ankles, down to the soles of the feet. Really feeling into that connection to the earth. With every breath in, finding length up through the body, all the way through the spine to the crown of the head. With every out breath, seeing that sense of grounding, of being this connection down to the earth beneath you. Again, just checking that you're not holding any tension in those areas that you naturally hold tension in. It might be the jaw, the stomach. And briefly bringing your attention to those, allowing them to release on the out breath. Begin to notice the shape of the spine, all those parts that dip in and out, those natural curves that we have. Just acknowledging how your spine sits as we sit in this position. Slowly beginning to open the eyes, taking the arms down to the side of the body if you're not there already. We're going to start moving with the breath, but as you breathe in, swooping the arms up and over the head, using the full breath, taking the fingers up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, taking them back down again. So you can follow this with your eyes, with your head, if that feels good, or you can keep the gaze in front. So breathing in, taking the fingers all the way up towards the ceiling, maybe parting the arms slightly. As you breathe out, taking those arms back down beside the body again. So really feeling the breath moving up through past the stomach, the ribs, all the way up to the collarbones as the arms come up. Pausing, waiting for the breath to release the arms, coming all the way back down. Slowly, slowly, with the breath all the way back down towards the earth again. Let's do this one more time with your own breath. And then as you release the arms down beside you, we're going to change that movement so we're sweeping up through the body. I'm just going to turn on my side so you can see my arms. But this time as you breathe in, taking the palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe if it feels good, taking the hands into prayer, or you can keep them at shoulder width as you breathe out, turning the hands with the palms coming back down towards the earth. Maybe taking a little prayer at the bottom as well. Breathing in, taking the arms up and over the head, just feeling those shoulder blades opening into this direction, the lateral plane. Just allowing that movement with the breath and releasing the arms. Land beside the body at the end of this breath. Take your left hand, just going to turn on the side, and place it on the outside of your right leg. You're going to come into a twist, so just holding with your right hand onto the sides of the chair. And then we're going to breathe out to come into the twist, but when you twist, Sorry, Jen, you can face forwards. I've just turned so you can see me. So as you turn, I want you to think about turning with the chest rather than turning with the back or turning with the neck. The chest area is where you're less likely to do any damage to your back. So breathing in to lengthen, and as you breathe out, taking that turn over towards the right side. So the gaze is just in front of the shoulder. Don't try and crane the neck to look all the way behind. So staying in this twist with the breath, just feeling into the spine, into the sides of the body, feeling into that chest, lengthening as you breathe in. And again, finding that sense of grounding as you breathe out. Breathing in to come back to the center, and then we're going to swap the hands around to take them in the other direction. So breathing in to lengthen the spine, and on the exhale, taking the body, moving from the thoracic spine, from the rib cage, coming over to that twist on the other side. Finding that length all the way from the feet up to the crown of the head as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, feeling into that twist, feeling into the ground. Finding that sense of balance between this lifting and grounding. And releasing, coming back to the front. So again, if you have a belt, you might like to grab it now. If you don't worry, you can get a different stretch without a belt, equally the same, but a little stronger, I think. So taking the belt around your right foot, just loosely to begin with. We're not going to use the belt to take the knee up. So as you breathe out, taking the knee up towards the body. So don't use the belt to hike yourself up. And as you breathe in, just using the belt to get a little bit of a stretch in the leg as you take it out. As you breathe in, taking that knee up towards the chest. As you breathe out, placing that belt on the balls of the feet, getting that stretch in the leg. So moving with the breath. As you breathe out, the knee comes in. As you breathe in, stretching the leg out. Now moving slowly with the breath. So wait for the breath before you start the movement. And the next time the knee is bent, I'm just going to swivel the hips so you can place that ankle onto the opposite thigh. Just place it there. So you can, if you want a bit more of a stretch, just take the hands to that thigh just to push it out slightly as you breathe. Just be careful with the ankle placement here, that you're not placing it the joint on the leg. You don't want to cause yourself any injuries. Just breathing into that stretch. And as you exhale, unraveling, coming back down. We're going to do the same on the opposite side now. So taking the belt around the ball of the opposite foot. And your next out breath is bending that knee in towards the chest. As you breathe in, lengthen that leg out in front. Breathing out to take the knee in towards the chest. Breathing in, stretching out. So make sure you're not collapsing into the back when you do this. You're keeping the spine nice and long the whole time. So full body experience, full body integrity as we do this. And the next time you have the knee bent in towards the chest, just taking that ankle over the opposite thigh, coming to that figure of 8 on the other side. You can just allow the belt to drop down to the side. We won't be needing that again. And again, if you took the option to take the hand onto the inside of that thigh, to give yourself a bit more of a stretch, you can take it here again. Breathing into that stretch. We're releasing legs. And then we're just going to come to a forwards fold from the chair. But as you breathe out, folding from the hips, keeping the spine long until you get the chest down to the knees, and then you can release the back, release the hands, coming all the way down to the front of the body. So this is the exact placement of the chest and the knees as we do a forwards fold when we're standing. So if you do need to bend your knees when you're standing in a forwards fold, just always remember this contact between the chest and the thighs. So slowly begin to make your way down to tabletop. So taking yourself so you're facing the chair and taking the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, coming into your tabletop position. I'm just going to take my jumper off because I'm quite warm now. So just padding the hands out, padding the knees out to make yourself feel comfortable. Don't feel like you have to come straight into these asanas. Just find your place in them, find where's comfortable. Once you get there, spreading the fingers out slightly, pushing away from the mat. So full strength in the shoulders. And as you breathe in, dipping the belly, bringing the chest forwards and the head up. As you breathe out, round and back, allowing the shoulder blades to part, and the head to drop down, gazes down towards the belly button. So breathing in, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, raising the head. Breathing out, allowing that upper back to round, the shoulder blades to part, the head to drop, release. Nice. Just be careful that you don't crane the neck too far when we're doing this. So not that I can see anyone doing that, but just make sure you're not gazing up towards the ceiling if the back's not in that position. So remember, the neck's an extension of the spine. You don't want to injure it in any way. You want to keep that lovely long length. And making your way back to tabletop position once you've done an even number of inhales and exhales. Keeping the bottom in the air, so this alignment between the knees and the hips. Walking the hands in front of you. Then taking the head, the chest down towards the floor. Coming into our puppy dog pose. So if it feels comfortable, you can take the arms, stretch the arms far out in front, so you can come down onto the forearms with the arms slightly wider if it's better for your shoulders. Just breathing in here. So the Sanskrit for this pose is, it translates to heart to earth pose or heart pose. So you really want to feel yourself melting down from the heart in towards the earth, in towards the mat. So coming to thread the needle from here, so raise the head slightly, and then take the right arm up and then thread it underneath the armpit of the left arm, placing the hand on the floor, coming into a twist, placing the head down onto the floor here. So we've got a little bit of shoulder work that we're doing today, so we want to really make sure the shoulders are feeling quite comfortable. And as you breathe in, taking those arms both out in front of you, come into that puppy dog once more for a moment. And then your next exhale, swapping over that twist, so threading the left arm underneath the right elbow, armpit, taking the head down to the floor. And that twist on the other side of the body. Nice. Inhaling to come up, back to that tabletop, nice and slow. Then you might need to walk into the chair a little bit just to make sure you kind of about, actually, what's this? Probably about almost leg length away from it. So we're going to do a little opening the shoulders here. So coming down as if we're coming into puppy dog pose again, taking the arms long onto the chair. And if it's good for the shoulders, you can maybe hold on to the back of the chair, or if it feels better, bending the elbows, taking the palms together and taking the body down. So you can make sure you're not taking the head fully down, only take it as in the same line as the chair, or you can take it higher if that feels a bit more comfortable, just opening up the shoulders here. Just breathing, feeling that openness into the front of the body. Feeling the shoulders moving away and down the back. Just breathe and enjoy these stretches. And slowly bringing yourself back up. We're going to push back into child's pose for a moment. So taking the bottom onto the heels, swooping the arms behind you for this child's pose. Just to release those shoulders. Taking the forehead down onto the floor, closing the eyes for a moment. Just releasing and letting go here. And then inhale, bringing yourself back up onto your knees. And then making your way back into tabletop. So again, make sure that the chair is in front of you because we're going to be using it in a second. So we're going to be coming into tiger. So again, checking that tabletop position, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, keeping the spine long. So make sure you're not dipping the belly, not rounding anything, shoulders away from the ears. So on an inhale, taking your left leg behind you, stretching it out long, taking the toes to the floor. As you exhale, taking the knee down towards the mat or in towards the nose, just rounding to make that space. The same knee as you breathe in, taking the leg back, toes towards the floor as you breathe out, taking that knee in towards the chest. So once more here. Then we're going to do it a fourth time. But on the fourth time, as you take the knee in towards the nose, you're going to step the foot in front of you. And you're going to step the foot so the knee is on the chair. So we've got this nice straight line from the knee down to the ankle. So we're really using the chair here for a bit of alignment cues, just to make sure that we've got a nice straight line. There's a tendency in lunge to take the knee a little further in front. So this is just a nice way to check that we're all fully in alignment here. So taking the hands to the hips, just staying here. So make sure you're not leaning into the chair, you're still taking the strength into your foot. And then as you breathe in, straightening that leg behind you, and as you breathe out, bending the knee, taking it in towards the chair. So moving with the breath as you breathe in, straightening the leg, taking yourself out as you breathe out, taking that knee in. Just moving with the breath here. So you can stay here or you can take it a little further by coming onto the toes on the back foot, taking your hands onto the floor, straightening that back leg, and then coming off the floor into a bit of a triangle. So stay wherever feels more comfortable for you, moving with the breath. And then wherever you are, coming back to that lunge, taking the knee down onto the floor once more. As you breathe in, taking the body up, breathing out, finding that grounding. Next time you breathe in, swooping the arms up and over the head. Gaze can be in front or up towards the fingertips to open the front of the body. Taking a few breaths here. And then the next time you breathe out, taking the hands down to the floor again, stepping that foot back, making your way back to tabletop. You're going to do the same on the other side. So finding your tabletop position again. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, making sure the shoulders are rolling against the ears. So opposite leg this time, as you breathe in, taking the leg back, toes down towards the floor. As you breathe out, taking that knee in towards the chest. So you did it 4 times in total on the other side. So we're going to do it 4 times again, this side, or however many you did. I did it 4 times. The lengthening as you breathe in, coming together as you breathe out. And the 4th time we did it, stepping the foot up towards that lunge again. So again, finding that alignment, the knee and the ankle, that nice straight line. Taking the hands down to the floor. And again, oh no, we did it with the hips, didn't we? The hands on the hips. And again, breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out to bend. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, bend forwards. So really feeling that stability in the core here. I'm feeling a bit wobbly. And again, we can take it a little bit further if you want. So taking the hands to the floor, taking the knee off the floor at the back, and coming in and out. That triangle pose. If that's what you want to do. If it's not what you want to do today, that's absolutely fine. So 1 more of these. Then we're going to come back to that lunge, knee on the floor, taking the hands down beside the body, and we're going to come up into that crescent lunge. So as you breathe in, taking the arms up towards the sky, again gazing in front or up at the hands, lengthening through the spine, grounding down through the feet. As you breathe out, taking the hands back down, making your way back into tabletop. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of a downward dog. We're not going to be there for too long. So just step the knees slightly back from hip distance, rolling the toes under, making sure those wrists are underneath the shoulders to begin with, spreading the fingers out and really finding that grounding in the hands towards there. As you breathe out, you're just going to lift the knees a few inches off the ground. And as you breathe in, placing them back down again. We're just going to do a bit of a half dog to begin with. Breathing out, taking the knees a few inches off the ground. Breathing in, come back down. So we're going to come up to dog now. So breathing out to take the knees off the ground. And as you breathe in, Straightening those arms, taking the pelvis back, coming into downward dog, pedaling the knees, taking the ankles off the floor, and then finding a stillness for a moment with the knees bent, the heels off the floor, or however is comfortable for you. Walking the hands back towards the feet, coming into a forward fold. Taking the elbows into the opposite hands for a moment, just releasing the spine, releasing the neck. And releasing the hands down to the floor, bending the knees generously as you breathe in, taking the arms wide, coming all the way up to the ceiling. And as you breathe out, hands in prayer, taking them down through the midline into Tadasana. Just take a breath here for a moment while we move on to our stretchy section. So releasing the arms, just giving yourself a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a break. So we're going to be going into a warrior one with the chair now. So coming to stand, I don't know, this far away. So you're going to be doing a bit of a lunge. So if it feels like you'll do a decent-ish warrior one from there, or a decent-ish lunge. So we're going to start with the left leg coming up. So with your right foot, just taking the foot out to about 45 degrees on the mat. The left foot, I'll place the hands onto the hips. That will probably help with balance. The left foot just peeling it off the ground. And as you breathe in, just stepping that foot onto the chair. And then just bending the knee and taking the weight forwards for a moment. So we're coming into a bit of a warrior one. So again, just check this knee and ankle alignment here. We're going to come in and out like we did with the lunge before. So as you breathe in, straightening that leg, taking yourself back, and as you breathe out, taking the body forwards. So doing this a few times, you may find when you do this that you want to change your distance from the chair a little bit, come a little bit further forwards, come a little further back, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And then next exhale, coming into that lunge once more, taking the hands at the hips. So just check your alignment here. The hips are pointing forwards to that front knee. The weight feels even into the front foot and the back foot, so you may need to take your weight back a little bit here. Keeping the back knee soft. Dropping the hands as you breathe in, taking them up, over towards the ceiling. Again, gazing up towards the fingertips if that's good for the neck, or keeping the gaze out in front. So full body engagement all the way from that back foot all the way up to the fingertips. Maybe taking a little bit of a bend backwards if that feels good, or keeping upright. As you breathe out, taking the hands into prayer, down through the midline, taking the weight back. We're going to do a little bit of a balance here. So taking that left foot off the chair, bringing it in towards the waist, and stepping it slowly back down onto the floor. So only a half balance, not too much of one. Very nice. Okay, we're going to do the same on the other side. So just give your legs a little bit of a shake out before we do it again. And again, you may find that you want to change your distance from where you were before. So we're going to step up with the right leg. So before we do that, just checking that the left toes are pointing out to 45 degrees. Taking the hands onto the hips to begin with, and peeling that right foot off the ground. And then stepping forwards onto the chair. And again, we're going to move backwards and forwards with the breath. So as you breathe in, straightening the leg. As you breathe out, making that weight forwards. Again, remembering that straight line from the knee to the ankle. So with the hands at the hips, just make sure that the pelvis is pointing forwards. You're not tipping it over towards one side or the other. And then the next time you breathe out, just pausing in that warrior one position, dropping the hands down beside the waist. As you breathe in, swooping the arms up towards the ceiling, fingertips up towards the sky, taking that gaze wherever is comfortable. Feeling that grounding in the back foot, in the front foot, feeling that length all the way up the spine to the fingertips. As you breathe out, taking the hands into prayer, down through the midline, taking the weight back. You're going to try that little balance again for a moment, or I'm going to try it. So taking that knee off the chair and in towards the chest for a moment, then breathing out, take that foot back down towards the earth and give your legs a little bit of a shake out, dropping the hands, coming into Tadasana for a moment. Taking a breath. So then you should hopefully be at the front of your mat where the chair is. And we're going to do warrior one again, but we're not going to use the chair this time. We're going to see if we can get into it a little deeper than you would normally after we've done that stretching. So taking the hands into prayer at the heart center, just have a look down at your feet, check your alignment. Your feet are at hip distance apart. So we're going to go back on the left foot first to begin with. So we're going to try that little balance to get through there first. So take the weight into your right foot. Gently start to peel the left foot off the ground, taking the knee in towards the chest. Next inhale, stepping back that left foot into the that lunge. So have a look at that left foot. Check that the toes are pointing out to 45 degrees and that the feet are still hip distance apart, so they're not gone into alignment. So take the hands into their hips to begin with. We're going to bend and straighten here like we did before. So as you breathe out, bending that knee. As you breathe in, straightening it again. So you may find again, once you're here, that you want to change the length between the front and back leg. So use this as an opportunity to find your comfortable position. Making sure that alignment between the knee and the ankle is straight. The next time you exhale, coming into that bent knee, again checking the hips are pointing forwards, the chest is pointing forwards, the gaze is pointing forwards, you're not looking down to the floor. Dropping the arms beside the body. As you breathe in, swooping the arms up and over the head. You can take the gaze up towards those fingers if you want, or you can keep the gaze in front. And again, you can take a little bit of a back bend if that feels good. If not, just keeping that spine up and straight. Wherever you are, checking the feet are even, left foot and the right foot, fronts and the backs. Be careful not to take the weight too far forwards, too far to one side or the other, too far back. On your next exhale, dropping the left arm down behind you and placing it on the left thigh. We're coming into a peaceful warrior here, turning the right palm so it's facing towards the back of the room or towards where you are. Again, you can gaze up at that palm or you can gaze out in front. Keep those legs strong. Make sure the knees are soft, not locking that back knee. Taking the weight into the toes, keeping it even, toes and heels. As you breathe in, swooping that left arm back up again, coming into warrior one. As you breathe out, taking the palms together, stepping forwards, taking the hands down to the heart center. Shaking the knees out before we do warrior one on the other side. And take a breath, maybe close the eyes. See if it feels different from one side to the other, if one side feels a little more open than the other. And opening the eyes, preparing for that warrior one again. So checking the feet, hip distance apart. We're going to do that balance again that we did before. So taking the hands onto the hips, taking the weight into your left foot this time and slowly peeling the right foot off the ground. Bringing that knee in up towards the chest, strong in that standing leg, and stepping back into that position ready for warrior one. Check the back foot is at 45 degrees and the feet are hip distance apart. They've not gone into a line together. The hips are pointing forwards, chest forwards, gaze in front. As you breathe out, bending the knee. And as you breathe in, straightening it up again. So make sure you're not taking the body forwards as you do this. The body is remaining upright. Just breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in to lengthen. Breathing out, bending, rounding. Again, have a play with the distance between the front and back legs whilst you're doing this. And the next time you breathe out, bending that knee, coming into warrior one. You're dropping the arms down beside you. Then as you breathe in, taking them up towards the ceiling. That gaze is wherever it was before, so in front or up towards the fingertips. Strong in the legs, strong in the feet, strong in the arms, strong in the shoulders. Making that little back bend if it feels good. I'm keeping the spine straight. Waist is even. Legs are strong. Quite a powerful stance, this one. Virabhadrasana one. The next time you exhale, dropping that right hand behind you, taking it onto the thigh, turning the left hand to face you, coming into peaceful warrior. And a few breaths here. Inhaling, taking that right arm up again, back into warrior one. Exhaling to take the hands into prayer, stepping forwards, coming down the midline, hands at the heart center. Being the weight even between the left and the right foot. The shoulders released, closing the eyes. Taking the attention in towards the feet, the legs. Noticing any sensations happening in the body at the moment. Speaking a breath. Releasing the arms, opening the eyes. So we're going to have a go at Warrior 3 now, which is a bit of a balance, but we're using the chair for it. So you might want to step about a foot further behind where you were. Feet are hip distance apart. Take the hands into the hip creases to begin with. So as we fold forwards towards the chair, folding forwards as you breathe out, taking a bend into the knees just to allow the back to be straight. And then taking hold of the chair. So you can take hold of the top of the chair, or if the back allows it, you can come all the way down onto the bottom of the chair. Just make sure the spine is long wherever you are. So I'm going to hold the top of the chair now. And use this as an opportunity to make sure you've got the distance right between your arms and your bottom. So as I say, we're going to come into a balance now. So we're going to start by taking the weight into the right foot. And then slowly peeling the left foot off the ground and taking that knee in towards the chest. So try to keep the hips stable here, rather than taking them up towards the side. Your next inhale, lengthening the leg out behind you, pointing the toes down towards the floor. So again, trying to keep that hip stable, keeping the right knee soft, gaze down towards the floor. So we're going to have a little play with the leg strength in the right leg. So we're going to bend the knee slightly and then come back to straight. So we can do this with the breath. So as you breathe out, bending the knee. As you breathe in, straightening it again. Just go with whatever feels good. Or less hard, I suppose. And then coming back to a straight leg, we're going to bend that left knee now and bring it in towards the chest, and then step it up onto the chair. We're going to come onto a lunge. And as you breathe in, swooping the arms up into that Warrior 1. Taking a few breaths and coming back down again with the arms, keeping that leg on the chair. So we're going to do that balance again to take the leg back. So taking that left foot off the chair very slowly in towards the chest and stepping back down onto the floor. Then give your body a little bit of a shake out. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So coming up to stand, Jen. Yeah, okie doke. So coming to take the hands into the hips before we do this on the other side. So on an exhale, folding the body forwards, taking hold of that chair like you were before. Taking the weight into the left foot this time. Slowly peeling the right foot off the ground. Bringing that knee in towards the chest. So checking the stability in those hips. They're nice and straight. The spine is long. Next time you breathe in, taking that leg out behind you, toes towards the floor. That standing leg, we're going to bend and straighten like we did before. So as you breathe out, just bending slightly. And as you breathe in, coming back to straight. We're doing this a few times with the breath. In that real strength, that length. Then with the standing leg straight, as you breathe out, bringing that right knee in towards the chest and stepping onto the chair. Dropping the arms, so we're going to come into that lunge again. So as you breathe in, taking the arms up and over the head. Just checking that alignment, checking that you're not locking the knees. Opening up the front of the body. And releasing the hands, taking them down onto the hips. Taking the weight back. Then we're going to do that little balance again that we did. So slowly peeling that right foot off the chair. Making the knee in towards the chest. And very slowly taking the leg down onto the ground. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Maybe turning them in one direction and then in the other. So we're going to make our way onto the ground from here. So dropping the hands beside you as you breathe in, taking them up towards the sky. As you breathe out, taking them wide, bending the knees, coming all the way down into a forwards fold. So taking hold of the elbows and the opposite hands, having a nice generous bend in the knees. Remember that chest and thighs should be in alignment together. So if that needs a nice big bend in the knees to get there, then do so. And then slowly taking the bottom down towards the earth. And then you're going to come into a little bit of a squat from here. So you're going to come up onto your feet. Take your feet about hip distance, maybe a little bit wide, and the toes pointing out. And then see if you can come up onto your bottom from here into our Malasana. Taking the elbows in between the knees, very nice. We're going to do a bit of a twist, so you probably need to come onto your toes for this next bit. And taking the hands out in front of you. And as you breathe in, taking the left arm over behind you and taking that gaze to look at that left hand. As you breathe out, taking the hand back down towards the earth. So keep that gaze at the hand and go only as far as feels comfortable for you. Breathing in to expand and breathing out to come back. So we're just going to do opposite hands. With the left again, breathing in, come back, and breathing out, back down towards the earth. One more time from the other side, so breathing in, take the hand out, and breathing out, come back down to the earth. Taking the heels back down if that you can do, or just keeping the heels off the ground back into that Malasana one last time. So find comfort somewhere here, so you might need to come a little bit higher in order to do so. Wherever you are, closing the eyes for a moment. Maybe just a little sigh out breath. Opening the eyes, taking the bottom down onto the floor. We come to face the long end of the mat, taking the feet out wide, so onto each side of the mat with the knees bent. Taking the hands to the sides of the body with fingers pointing in front. So breathing in to lengthen the spine, rolling the shoulders back, and breathing out, taking the knees over towards the right hand side. Breathing in to take the knees back up to the top, and breathing out to take them over to the other side. So continuing this movement with the breath. So breathing in to come to the top, breathing out to take the knees over to the side. Then we're going to take the arms into this movement as well. So as you take the knees over to the side, the opposite side, you're going to swoop the arm up and over and use that movement to take the knees over to the other side and the hand over. So breathing in, taking the arm up and over, and then taking the arm down to the same side as the knees, up. So when I do this, for some reason my bum kind of travels down the mat, so I need to keep repositioning myself so I don't come off the end. Just easing into those hips, easing into the shoulders. And when you've done an even number on both sides, coming back to center again, taking those knees together with the knees bent, taking the back down onto the ground, bring the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a hug, a little rock, backwards and forwards, easing out that lower back. So cross the left leg over the right, taking hold of the ankles, or wherever's comfortable, you might hold behind the thighs, just allowing the hips to resettle again, taking a few breaths here. Unraveling and taking the opposite leg over, taking hold at the ankles or behind the thighs, wherever feels comfortable. Just allowing the body to release, the stomach to release. Crossing the legs. So we're going to make our way down into Shavasana now. So if there's any warm things that you'd like to grab, if you have a pillow to place underneath the head, that would be quite nice, just to keep the chin slightly tilted in towards the chest. And lying down with the legs long, the arms on the sides, maybe having a blanket, maybe lying on your side, on your front, however feels comfortable. So finding your comfortable position once you get there, closing the eyes or coming to the gentle gaze. And begin again to bring that attention back to the breath. Maybe you'd like to take a few sighing breaths in through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Before returning to that, breathing in and out through the nose. With every inhale, finding length through the whole of the body, all the way from the toes up to the crown of the head. With every exhale, finding that sense of stability, of grounding. Releasing around all those areas that are maybe feeling some tension. Begin to notice those parts that maybe need a little bit more attention, that may be feeling achy, maybe feeling a little wobbly. So in your own head, just repeating that body scan that we did at the beginning of the session. Releasing all the way around the forehead, the jaw, the neck, shoulders. Releasing around the arms, the chest, the stomach, legs, the ankles, the tips of the toes. I'm going to end the session today with a poem that was shared to me by one of my teachers. Today, for a moment, just for a moment, I shall allow myself to dissolve into the space that holds me in the palm of its hands. And I shall let go of everything completely. I shall let go of all my worries, and I shall let go of all my cares. And in doing so, just settle into the stillness. Nothing to do, nothing to be, just letting go completely and resting in the stillness. And in time, I shall begin to feel the stillness as it begins to rise and expand within me. And with that, I shall be at peace. I shall be at peace with myself. I shall be at peace with the world. and I shall rest in this peace just till all is well. And in time, I shall begin to be aware of the goodness that exists at the core of this experience. And I shall hold on to it, holding onto the goodness, feeling it one with the stillness and imbued with peace. I shall be ready. I shall be ready to begin the day ahead, just as I would a brand new day. The last few moments of this practice today, I'd like you to repeat a mantra to yourselves. Mantra, just be. As you breathe in, repeating just. And as you breathe out, repeating be. Remember that all you need to do is just be. Just be still, just be who you are, who you want to be already. Exist. Just be. Asking to bring the attention back to your body lying on the mat in your room this evening. Starting to make some small movements, starting to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Allow the breath to begin to deepen as your body begins to wake. Maybe taking the arms up over the head, pointing the toes for a full body stretch. And as you breathe out, bringing the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a hug. Gentle rock backwards and forwards, side to side. Very slowly making your way over onto one side, just pausing in that fetal position for a moment, before very slowly bringing yourself back up to seated with the hands in prayer at heart center. Just closing the eyes for one last moment of the session to give yourself thanks for the time for this practice today. And thank you for joining me today. Om Shanti.